Welcome back to another episode of Scryer's Room. I am your host, Famfare.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mario.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about the Elder Scrolls series and wrap up our little series on that. We have some thoughts about the Oblivion Remaster.
Yes, because that just came out, ironically, like a week after we started talking about Elder Scrolls. It came out of nowhere, and
It did.
It just has existed, so we got to talk about it.
There was like rumors about it.
It's coming out tomorrow.
The game is out. Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. Yeah. Which was, I don't know, like, I think it sold well, question mark.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that
stuff. It definitely did. But, like, I will, my opinion has been, and still is, it should have been Morrowind. Because Oblivion is, Rob will go on the mod situation there. I don't know too much about it, but I'm aware it exists, and because I'm aware that the mods of Oblivion exist the way that they do, Morrowind should have gotten a remaster, because Morrowind is such... We have a bit about rock MMOs and just archaic, like, shitty, clunky things, that when I think of a rock MMO, like a brutally annoying, just oppressive game, that's Morrowind. Yeah. Like,
okay, so
a modern audience could not digest that game.
Okay, so, like... I guess the primary issue that I take with the Oblivion Remaster is I would take... it would be even worse with the Morrowind Remaster, and I am sure I've heard that plenty of the... I guess I'll back up and go into the whole thing. A lot of work has gone into these games, man. Like, there's very few games... Like, I know the original Baldur's Gate 2 has, like, a whole lot of mod stuff, man. There's a good amount of that, and there was even... There's been multiple generations of some guy comes together and throws together the all-in-one mod pack where a program downloads all the mods to it, puts them all together, and there's different presets and stuff. There's been at least 2 generations of that I know about, so there's probably more than that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a big one. I'd call that a high watermark for modding. But it's all one game, man. They talk about their new engine. They've been making the same game since 2002. All of, like, the modern Fallouts... and Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim.
They're all the same.
And it's all the same thing. If I open up the command console, which is the tilde key, and I type player.addItemF and then a number, it will give me septims. It will give me gold coins. It will give me drakes. It will give me... I haven't played Starfield, but I'm guessing I would get star credits if I typed player.addItemF number in Starfield. In fact, I would put money down that is the same command.
Okay.
And so, like,
Star credits.
The game... Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't played that.
No.
All I know about that game is, like, the sarcastic stuff to know about that game. Like, that you're the Starborn at the end. I don't think that you become the Starborn... Based on the screenshots that I've seen, I think that at the end of the game, you unlock being the Starborn, and you play the game in NG Plus as it.
Uh-huh.
So that might be silly on purpose.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't played that game... None of the people that I talk to about games like this, which is basically you guys, and some other people on the internet, like somebody like, you've met all these guys.
Yeah.
None of them played that game. So, I don't know too much about it.
Samesies.
Yeah.
But
anyway, Oblivion. A lot of work has gone into Morrowind and Oblivion, like, making them... Are they good? We're not... I like them. I think they're good. But, like, a lot of work has gone into making those better. Like, a tremendous amount of work, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can go and again, generations of things. I haven't done it, like, done the Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout, Skyrim. I haven't done that modding thing since, like, 2018 was the last time I tried doing that, and that was the 3rd or 4th time I had tried doing it, and I considered myself pretty good at the time. Probably I wasn't. But... I haven't done that in a long time, and even then I knew that there was, like, I tracked, like, things come in generations. Like, it used to be that you use this combat overhaul, but now you use this combat overhaul, and it advanced, they built on each other, and now there's people are posting their clips of, like, oh, this is me playing Oblivion, and it's like... And he's doing, like, Dark Souls. He's, like, doing, like, action game rolls.
I was thinking about these videos. Where they're, like, going to, like, some, like, cathedral, and there's, like, these, like, giant, like, masked monsters, and, like, epic music is playing.
Yeah.
And it's, like, Dark Souls.
This is the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Yeah. It's like, shit.
And, like, there's other things that are like that, and things that I'm sure they're in. But, like I said, anything between the kind of clunkiness of the original Oblivion, where you're blocking and you're swinging your sword, anything, honestly, without having looked this up, even though some people don't care for Morrowind's combat, where you're hitting but not really, it's actually a dice roll. Even though some people, I'm gonna be real, I'm a bad person. I haven't watched the Morrowind episode yet. I'm sorry.
Based.
So I don't know what you guys talked about, but I'm almost positive you covered that. So I'm not gonna go into that.
No, we
didn't actually.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I explained that you're more of the guy
Yeah,
talking
he-
about
okay.
the actual
Yes.
game mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that the I know it's tied to fatigue for and everything is.
And yeah, there's like
basically.
there's a stat that doesn't even show called attack that gets buffed by various items and spell effects. But basically, some people don't like that in Morrowind when you swing your sword and you connect with your sword if you do the swing animation and your swing animation hits their model, that's not necessarily a hit. That then does a dice roll based on X, Y, and Z factors to determine if you made a hit or not.
Right. You
So
might
it's
genuinely drive your sword through them, and then it says miss. Yeah.
Like a wind noise miss. And
Yeah.
like that, some people don't care for that. It is a little bit silly, but Morrowind, it's more of a turn-based kind of thing. It's more of like a weird...
It isn't fully an action game.
Yeah, not yet. And Oblivion, talking back to the point, took me a while of rambling to get around back to that. Sorry about that. Oblivion has much more, physics-based, I guess is what I'd call it. Action game. Game.
It's an action game.
Yeah, where, you put your shield up with the left trigger or whatever,
Yeah.
right mouse button, depending on when I was playing this game. And you block or you swing your sword, and if your sword hits, your sword hits, and if your sword doesn't hit, it's their shield. There's, feedback on your guy, or you're and he staggered a little bit, and he can't swing again immediately. His next swing is delayed because you hit into their block, kind of shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so without looking it up and without having tried to do this myself, I am sure that you could find a mod out there that takes Oblivion and replaces it with the sometimes maligned Morrowind system, where it's just clunkier and older. Without looking this up, I bet that mod exists.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah,
so you
I
can
have
go.
no doubt.
I was gonna say you can go. I was gonna start this is all again rambling.
Yeah.
This is all in aid of. I was going to start with. You can mod it from being anywhere from the original to all the way up to that crazy, super hyper Dark Souls flying around. We won't even call it Dark Souls. Devil May Cry action, or Bayonetta, swooshing around and really doing the movements, and
juggling and
it's hyper action. You can go anywhere from the original hyper action, but you can go further than that. You can go backwards from the original back in time if you want. The mods extend in both directions, I'm sure. Again, I haven't looked this up, but I'm sure that exists.
Yeah, modernize the old thing and oldernize the modern thing.
Yeah, oldernize. I like that. So the extensibility of Oblivion is damn near endless, and the game scales in other ways like that. Obviously, the combat is just one of the factors where you can go as nuts as you care to with it. The game scales in other ways. The content can go that way too. There's more, and this ties back into the Morrowind thing as well, and ties into the point that I'm trying to make here. Again, rambling, but we're getting somewhere. I promise it's all going somewhere.
I'm there for
I
it.
don't think the remake of Morrowind is something we needed either. The amount of work that's gone into Morrowind and Oblivion to make them good and fun, and the Tamriel Rebuilt, everyone loves to talk about that. You guys know what that is?
No.
Tamriel Rebuilt is a Morrowind mod where, that game is only an island called Vardenfell, which is only, the volcanic island in the center top of the province, kind of.
Yeah.
And there's an entire landmass that's not part of the video
Yeah, Mario
game.
dabbled on that.
Yeah, and since 20 years, a million years. For a million years, some nerds have been working on slowly hammering out the rest of that. And that's not even close to being finished. But the amount of work that's there is insane. It's monumental. It is truly an achievement. It's the kind of project that a father will bequeath to his son one day. This is the great. Someday, soon, in 3 generations, we will have completed God's temple, son. Kind of thing.
My father died building the pyramids. His father died building the pyramids. And by God, I'm going to die building the pyramids.
Yeah. But Coop is going to have a good pyramid, damn it. He's going to have a good one. That's going to be great. the amount of work that has gone into making these games good. And again, I think I said this already, but I'm going to say it again. I understand that there is some amount of mod compatibility between the original game and the new remake of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if that is true and correct, then I back away. Do whatever the hell you want, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that for me is the crux of it. Like, there's
right. Does this take out the legs of 20 years of collective work?
Exactly. We're replacing with, and no offense to people who made this game, but we're replacing, like, I would never call Oblivion pretty. The original Oblivion. That is not the word that I would use for it.
Right. Grunkled. Yeah. Lumpy.
Grunkled and lumpy. I was just gonna say potato because that's what everyone says. Yeah, potato. Like it's
Grunkled and lumpy.
Different Mr. Potato Heads. And if you're doing your animations, like if you have the ability to look something up right now, just look up like a GIF of the emotion wheel. You know, the influence mini game. Mario's not. I guess I'm talking about the influence mini game where you like. In Morrowind, you would just either bribe, taunt, or compliment people.
Right.
And usually bribe.
Yeah.
And in Oblivion, you, like, play a mini-game to get people's disposition up. Disposition from 0 to 100.
It's like a spinning wheel that, like, it shows you, like...
Like, this guy's weak to comedy, so I need to use jokes.
Yeah, unironically, yes.
But then,
that's awesome.
But then also, how effective that one's going to be this turn is based on, like, a meter that's, like, in there. So you have to scroll around the wheel because their expression changes.
Yeah, and so it just, like the Grunkle Oblivion potato face is, like, going, like...
Yeah, just making like extremely different faces.
Going.
Like the detective noir game where you have to tell people are lying.
Yeah, like the Gifts of L.A. Noir where the guy's like doing you know that
the super obvious lying face.
Yeah, the super obvious lying face. And so they either love the thing, like the thing, dislike the thing, or hate the thing.
Right.
In that order. And there's like you have to line up these like orange yellow gradient. Circular triangle objects.
Because the inner like rings like that like extend out are like green, and there's like different degrees of that reach out to the orange wheel.
Yeah. And you have to do this thing, and like the wheel spins, and there's like you have like 4 levels of how hard you go on it, and you want to line it up so that like the biggest slice of the pie, the hardest go on the thing they like the most, and the smallest slice of the pie on the thing they like the least.
Right.
And
I'm
not doing a good job describing this at all.
And you do this until you reach like max disposition with them.
Right.
Or once you're past level 20, you mash the Y button until their disposition is 100 because you have unlimited gold.
Right.
Yeah.
because you figured out how to abuse one of the things, or you spent tens of hours, hundreds of hours meticulously stealing all things.
I thought that the Pokemon contest like mechanics were unnecessarily
okay. Well, they are. It's a different episode.
Yeah, but this sounds insane.
I can talk about that this. Different episode.
Yeah.
I'm Oblivion, like Morrowind, Oblivion. I don't think that. Again, I just don't think that they need to have like.
The remake of this is unnecessary, especially if it like knocks the legs out of 20 years of collective labor.
And again, like it goes other ways too. Like you can add. It's not just like adding more stuff.
Right.
Not just like adding more weapons, sure. Adding different combat, sure.
Right,
making the continent bigger. Adding either solo things or adding like the solo things. I mean, like a separate continent or like adding things to the main game that exists already. All that stuff. Like the gameplay is extensible too. Obviously, there's like you can make it into a porn game if you want to, and that's a whole different episode as well.
The Lusty Argonian Maid is canon.
That one's Patreon only. That one will come later.
Oh man.
I can't imagine making an Elder Scrolls game into a porn game because they're all just so potato.
Okay, well, that's part of it though. Is you have to spend hours
making the porn mods.
Yeah, you have to meticulously replace the bodies and the meshes, and you have to make sure that they work together. And it's like God. Let me tell you how complicated I remember this being as a kid. So, when I first started doing this, I was still a teen, and I was even dumber than I am now. So, like, it's possible that this was easy then and I was just stupid, but I'm pretty sure you had to do, like, a command line interface type thing back then to make this work. and like I'm pretty sure you had to type stuff into a thing called Rybash or something.
Right.
I did that one time and fucked it up and didn't try that again after that.
Right.
It's like you used to have to like set your load order and combine your this and merge your patch, and now it's just like, oh, bro, you just like log into the mods website.
You download Dong Genie. Dong Genie will do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And like there's a tool that's called Wabbajack, which
Wabbajack.
Wabbajack. Dong Genie. There's a tool that ought to be called Dong Genie. The Wabbajack is perhaps a little bit more elegant because Wabbajack is more ass thing.
Yeah.
But you pop open the Dong Genie website, and on the Dong Genie website it says something like, you should really have a Nexus Premium account for this. But apparently I was reading that there's just like someone said, oh, just set up the auto clicker or something like that. So apparently there's solutions.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah,
set up the auto clicker.
There's workarounds for that too, apparently, that I'm not hip to. But like you literally like, you can set your own Wabbajack list, or more likely just go and find a pre-baked list of someone else's hundreds of mods that are all meticulously tested and loaded and merged.
Right, so they all will definitely all load together and work.
And you just like point the robot at it and say, robot, get me the mods. And it goes through there and it's like, I am getting you the mods. And it puts them all together. And it does all that stuff that I talked about being too stupid to do when I was a teenager for you. It's fully automated.
Right.
Like the
I mean, that goes to show how much labor has gone into it from the community.
Yeah. It's
so much labor that they have also created a separate labor force to do additional labor for it because it's too much of an ask.
I'm fully unprepared to say I've been following this with its inception and tracking it the whole time. That's wrong.
Right.
But like I checked in with this process at multiple stages throughout its lifetime, and it's really matured into like a very simple thing. Like it's a marvel, honestly. I'm sure it's like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of man hours, like over literally decades plus at this point. Gosh, I'm old. We're old.
Yeah.
I heard a song on the radio that was sampling somebody I used to know. Like that's like the sample that they're using in the song, and I'm like, they're doing that like it's an old song. And then I thought for a second, it came out probably like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It is an old song, Kevin.
10 at least.
You're old.
Yeah.
You old bitch.
Falling into the total perspective vortex doesn't feel good for anyone.
Yep.
Bond.
Anyway, Morrowind and Oblivion. Like, that's the main issue that I take with it, shit that I take on. Also, like, it is a bit of, like, it's a bit old hat now to say, like, oh, Unreal Engine is ugly. And it just, I don't know, at a certain point, like, it's just kind of generic looking, and I'm sure that if you know what you are doing, like, and you're a real genius of game development, and you know Unreal Engine like the back of your hand, all of this stuff is extensible and slidable, and I can't make a slide whistle noise. Can you digitally put a slide whistle noise there?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
Give me a clown honk.
All right, for sure.
Okay, well, wait, hold on now. I don't want to
truck with power
I don't want to like.
Fine, no honk.
Just accept my disgustingly bad slide whistle noise I tried to make. Leave that in there. Leave this whole thing in there. I don't know, man. I've said all I need to say about the Oblivion remake. I just think I think it doesn't need to happen, and at best it looks kind of like other games that I've seen in the past. I'm sure that there are ways to make the Unreal Engine look nice, and I'm sure that there are ways to do it, and I'm sure I'm a Philistine.
I'm shocked that there are ways to make Oblivion look nice.
Yeah, well, it's certainly I'm not gonna certainly not trying to boomer you here and be like, oh, it looks incredible, because it fucking does not.
No, it doesn't. I'm sure that it has its own character that grows on you as you play it and enjoy it.
It definitely has like a charm, like I won't deny.
Yeah.
But what it looks like it came out for the Xbox 360, which had 512 megabytes of RAM.
This, I feel like it would be like as shocking as like if they made it suddenly look good in like a remake. So there's a thing in Devil May Cry where between like Devil May Cry, I think 4 and 5, they go from being anime men with anime men faces to like now they're just like Caucasian males where like you can count their stubble and like you could cast a man that looks like that instead of them being
I would
like
say between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 and 4.
I can't keep them straight in my head, but like just they stopped being anime men and started just being
absolutely
men.
It's between 3 and 4.
Another thing that like I just kind of like started to take for granted, I remember it used to, back in the day, this used to cause big problems when you were trying to mod this in Fallout New Vegas because of how it was scripted. Is that because video game consoles didn't have a lot of memory at the time, and that's like, if you want to talk about ways that the game could genuinely use a remake, a lot of these games are so old that they're not 64-bit, which means on your PC, they can only access up to 4 gigs of RAM. And to go higher than that, you need to do like some kind of aftermarket patch thing, which is easy to do, of course, but still, like, that's a thing you still have to do.
It, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, there are ways that the games are not perfect, and, you know, they still need some work, like, in ways like that. But because the memory limit was so low in Oblivion, and then, like, in New Vegas and in Fallout 3, like, towns are like a different cell. Like, you load into a different
because
thing.
they can't afford to have that town exist at the same time as outside.
Exactly. So you have to, like, you click a gate and you hit a loading screen rather than just, like, doors open and you're in the town.
Yeah.
That's like one of the first things that people tried to mod back in the day. I remember that. Like I said, I remember that used to cause issues for Fallout New Vegas because it would fuck up all the quests if you try to do that.
I don't even, like, follow this, and I specifically remember people trying to mod Skyrim that you could do that. And one of the ways that they were like, okay, we're going to try to figure out, like, how we can do this is them just repeatedly breaking it by trying to, like, get into the town over the sides of walls and shit. And I like that because I'm a little stinker. But
the paintbrush drop. The paintbrush drop is not in the remake.
Of course, everyone knows that.
This is the paintbrush drop.
The paintbrush drop.
So in an original Oblivion, paintbrushes, which is a useless just junk item, if you drop them, they are frozen in the air wherever you dropped it.
They were just,
That's super useful.
So you
for a
can
real
hop on
paintbrush.
one, drop another one, hop on it. You make a stairway.
They're just immovable
paintbrushes.
rods.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
just immovable rods.
Yes.
And the rub is, you really only need 2.
Right, because you pick up the one behind you after you take the next step.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
You can monkey bars that shit.
That's
Then
awesome.
if you're a real G and you do whatever glitches or mods or whatever you need to do to get your agility to a certain level, you just hop out of the town.
Yeah, we were talking about acrobatics being like, yeet, like...
All right, I think now we need to go to somebody who's actually played the Oblivion remake.
Yeah,
So-
I'm a hater and I'm sorry. You shouldn't listen to me.
So let me provide a counter argument here. Not to say that I don't think it's at least a little bit scummy that they've sold us the same game again.
They love doing that. It's their
but,
favorite
you know, that's what Bethesda does at this point.
Yeah.
But essentially what the game is, 'cause it's not a remake, it's a remaster. It's still the same game. They just built shit around it. They just made a prefab modded game for you.
If it still interacts well with the previous mods, then I'm all for it.
If someone doesn't know how to do what you described, or can't be bothered to do the thing you described, or just doesn't care about spending the money...
People who aren't
There
me
you go.
shouldn't be allowed to be happy.
There you go.
Well
Hate.
Yeah, based. Giga-based opinion.
And so, as myself, a person who cannot be bothered to figure out how to do that, or probably maybe, I don't know if my computer's even good enough to do that.
Right.
We could.
I just clicked a button and said, I got, like $50 to burn, whatever. And it's pure weaponized nostalgia
Oh, yeah.
that I've been enjoying.
Good.
Yeah, well, but
Happy.
nostalgia, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Good. Great job. Now, I do want to take this time to segue into an interesting scientific principle that we have uncovered.
Oh,
This is a law.
So we are first and foremost a collegiate of wizards, and it is our
Men of
duty and
wisdom.
our privilege and our honor to expose people to the truth of how
truth!
things truly work. And we have uncovered a new spectrum on which to judge all phenomena, or rather,
All video games,
all
certainly.
video games, specifically
Certainly,
video games.
yeah.
This is a spectrum of which you too now can judge all video games
Yes.
on.
Would you like to present your theorem, Wizard Rob?
Yeah, okay, thanks for that intro. Damn. I really appreciate all that. That was
You're
good
welcome.
stuff.
This
Now
is
I really
important.
gotta sell
This is
it. I really gotta
important
sell it
knowledge.
now.
This is important
No.
knowledge. This is why people listen to
So,
the podcast.
something that I came up with, like, while I was just sitting there eating dinner, not making eye contact with my family, was there's only really 2 genres of video games if you think about it. And
Yep.
this is not that original a thought. People are like, oh, it's only 2 stories.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone knows. Many people have heard that.
Right.
There's only 2 genres of video games, really. And the two genres of video games are coloring book and ball crusher.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you what I say when I mean ball crusher. Ball crusher is like you step up to the plate, and in front of you on the plate is a big metal vise. And it doesn't matter if you're a dude or a lady or any of that stuff, because we're all metaphorically stepping up to the ball crusher. We all have metaphorical balls to be crushed.
Yes.
And so you step up to the ball crusher plate on either side, and you lock in, and you make eye contact, and maybe these days, a lot of the game, it's 5v5 ball crusher. That's really popular these days.
Yep.
League of Legends, I'm looking at you.
So there's...
Can I propose an alternate title to the Ball Crusher?
Hit me.
The Humbler.
Did we do that one?
No,
I don't think we did.
Not.
Oh,
No, we did not. Do
that's
a
a Brody.
segue?
That's a Brody.
We
No,
got
that's
30
a Brody.
minutes.
That's a Brody.
Okay.
That's a Brody. The Humbler
Okay.
is a Brody.
Anyway,
Fair
Google it,
enough.
Own Peril. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, oh man.
If we're talking about... Like,
That's an
We'll
in-joke.
circle
for us.
back to this.
we're talking about
circle
BDSM
back.
apparel, that's got to be Brody. Has got to be here. Like,
Yeah.
yes, fair leaving out. But ball crusher. So you and possibly your teammates
crusher.
line up
Yeah.
to the ball crusher, and
It's a Saw game style room, I imagine.
and you begin hurling your insults and making your jeers and your leers and saying up yours and your mom this and
Yep.
maybe your slurs, but you shouldn't do those too many because your account will get taken away.
Yeah. There are other reasons too, but
Yeah, sure. But I mean, like in the more immediate,
I'm fucking dying over here.
in the more immediate,
Yeah.
like, you really shouldn't.
Oh,
Anyway,
so you're there, ready for your balls.
yeah, and like I don't know, in my head, I guess I never thought about this part. If like the vice tightens on it, you know what? You tighten the vice yourself.
You have to tighten it
You
on
tighten the
yourself.
vice yourself.
That's how you tighten
really
their
do
vice.
it,
yeah.
By tightening your vice, you're
part of-
tightening their vice.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
part of the
That's
fun, is crushing
exactly
your
how it
own
works.
balls.
That's exactly how it works. 'Cause I never bridged that gap in my mind. So I'm glad that we got there so quickly. Thank you.
Yeah.
I need your help with that. And you on the word go, everyone, or sometimes before the word go or after, everyone, you place your balls down in the vice and you just begin tightening the crank, which I imagine goes around.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think I've ever seen a vice that has a crank that goes like my hand is moving right now.
Right, like a
I'm
drawbridge style
Yeah,
crank.
I'm doing like a captain's wheel with my hand. But you know how a vice is.
Yeah,
you
and
guys
it's just
know
slowly
stuff.
crushing in.
Yeah, anyway, and you're sitting there opposite the other person, and whoever taps out first is the loser. Whoever decides that their balls hurt too much, that they need to stop, and they tap out and they stop playing, they're the loser. So the last person standing wins.
Yes.
The last team standing, whatever,
Oh, no.
And on the other end of this,
is coloring book. And
coloring book.
Coloring book.
I like the coloring books.
Yeah, no,
Me too.
They're for me.
It's very
what's
popular.
like the meme from that. I don't know what movie that is. That new Star Wars movie. It's an honest life. Like you're a man like yourself farming or whatever.
Oh,
they
yeah,
say.
yeah.
It's that meme. It's honest. It's chilling. I love me some
chilling.
coloring book recently.
Yeah.
They're retired from ball crushing.
Virtually all single player games are coloring book. Because at the end of the day, a coloring book game wants you to enjoy all of it, if not most of it.
Right. And if the most you ever stand to lose is your time,
Yeah.
that's coloring book. If the difference between you and the best player on the planet is the speed with which you color the book,
That's coloring book.
that's coloring book.
Yeah.
And people go pretty hard on coloring book, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
People like coloring
They
books
do.
so much that they
Speedruns.
they speed run and they try to do like the crazy ball crusher type shit with their coloring book. But at the end of the day,
It's coloring book.
It's a
Coloring
coloring
book.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you can be a damn fine colorer. The
Yeah.
best.
Yep.
The best and the fastest draw in the West,
Yep.
if you will.
Oh,
With
wow.
your crayons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of these, by the way, is good to be good at.
Well, if you're a kick-ass, use them.
You are not like morally or like, wow, that guy's really cool
Right,
for being
yeah.
good at either of them.
Yeah, I'm not passing any kind of judgment. Oh, ball crushers and people are better. They're not.
They're not, no.
They're not. If anything,
They're
I think
obsessed with crushing balls.
Yeah. I think they're worse, if anything. Please, let me get that right.
If I had to create a spectrum between the two, coloring book end,
Yeah.
The Sims,
Yes.
and then on the other opposite end, Eve Online.
Yeah.
Oh,
EVE Online
man.
is
So
ball crusher.
I think-
EVE Online,
EVE Online is quite the
gameplay
ball
of EVE
crusher.
Online is spiting other people.
I think
God
the
bless.
coloring bookist game is probably Animal Crossing.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah,
Because not only is it just a chores game, it's a chores game with 0 penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just a really chill dude, and you're in this town.
Or Steady is mean to you if you don't save. And like he says stuff that's really, really scary, and you have to click a lot of A presses.
Right, but it doesn't matter.
The modern Animal Crossing still has Resetti, right?
I don't know what that is. I don't.
When you like reset wrong, Resetti will like yell at you. That's why his
name's...
name's...
If the game detects that it's launched without a save, a little mole will dig out of the ground
And yell at you, yeah.
He'll yell at you, and it's like really long. Really long dialogue, and he'll make you say "I'm sorry" 100 times. I think that's
hilarious.
Yeah.
I think
That's
"I'm sorry" 100 times is Mario RPG.
Man, that sucks. Saying sorry 100 times, having to go through the dialogue.
Yeah, I think it's Paper Mario 2 or 3 is "I'm sorry" 100 times.
For what? Well, for why?
For not saving your game. You're supposed to save your game and quit.
There's like, just in Paper Mario 2, I don't know if it's a side quest or the main quest, but you have to deal with like the Mafia is the tree people. Pinantas?
I got nothing, man.
Pinatas?
No. The things from Mario Sunshine that are like little tree guys.
Oh, yeah.
They're like woobling around, like all like. And in Paper Mario 2, the Mafia that is in charge of the local crime syndicate is these guys.
Oh.
Okay. It's a those people crime syndicate. I don't know.
That's not on us. That's on Paper Mario 2.
Yeah, that's Nintendo.
They did make it a racially charged syndicate.
But like they're, I want to know. I want to say the name. Like I think one of the pronunciations I gave was correct, and I'm willing to come down on which side. So I'm not going to say the wrong pronunciation and mean it. Anyway, the boss's daughter and one of his goons like want to run off together, and at some point like the goon loses the wedding ring. And you have to go get it back for him. And now that I say that, I think it is a side quest. And at the end of it, like, she finds out and says, you have to apologize to me 100 times. And so it's, I'm sorry, and you A-press through the dialogue, I'm sorry, 100 times.
Man.
That's so annoying.
Goddamn.
Paper Mario 2 is a sick game that also has a bad remake that didn't need to happen runs like shit on Nintendo Switch.
That's sad. I was going to say much like Oblivion, but actually I'm pretty sure the Oblivion it runs well, right?
Oh, yeah. Oblivion Remake, I'm sure, runs like a champion.
On PS5, the load times are like... Compared to original Oblivion, where you would sit there, if you're like on console, probably even on PC... Like it could take like a minute or longer.
I'm pretty sure on PS3 there was like a memory leak for Skyrim to where like not only did the game crash after a short amount of time of playing it, but load times get longer and longer.
Oh man.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the load times being bad. So I'm sure it runs great. Like it's Unreal Engine 5 like that. But that doesn't like if every game is that, they should be able to run that.
Mm-hmm.
Has anything stuck out to you from the Oblivion remaster? Like,
what's actually different? I've seen I only know the memes about it. Like they said, I didn't play it. I installed the game because I have it on the Game Pass, and I got to the character creator. And I looked at the character creator and I said, I don't like this. And I turned the game off and I installed the game and resolved it.
Classic Rob.
And I resolved that someday soon I would do the mod thing again, but not today.
Yeah.
So I've seen lists of they introduced more bugs than they solved, but I don't...
Classic Bethesda.
What's actually different? Tell me.
It just looks a little nicer. The effects are a little cool. Like, magic looks... You shoot fire, it actually looks like fire now, you know?
Man, it's a great thing that Bethesda isn't, sponsoring us in any way, because the whole, so what's different about it is, a great setup for, a sales pitch.
No, it's virtually the same exact
It's a little prettier.
They gave each race, you can pick a background now. You one of two for each race, and it changes your racial stats a little bit.
Oh.
So
I like that a lot.
That's kind of neat. You know, you can choose
that's fun.
What kind of high elf you are, what kind of Bosner, that sort of.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Where you're from.
What kind of Catman?
Basically.
Okay, not what kind of Catman, because some kinds of Catman are like a house cat, and so depending on the phase of the moon the cat people are born under.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
You covered it done. Good.
I went into it a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't list them off because I can't be asked to do that.
There's 18 of them, you said, right?
There's 15, I believe.
God, it's too many.
Yeah, and then beyond that, it's I think they adjusted some other things, from what I understand. I couldn't really tell you what they are, but that's what I saw other people who care more about that than me. Like,
I think the
online
leveling
talking
is
about
different.
that.
I think they adjusted the leveling. Because the leveling for the original
right.
was pretty objectively silly.
Okay. So that's the one people like the most because
that's good.
It gives you a flat, like, I think it's 12 points or something you can put into any stat, and it doesn't matter. And it's the big one was everyone hated is you'd always have to max out your endurance.
Just to actually play the game because you have fatigue.
No, it's about your health.
Health gain in Morrowind, and I think also Oblivion before the remaster, was not retroactive. If you increased your points in Constitution down the line, you would not get all you don't get the multiplier of the past levels. That you already gained the health for those levels. That's not coming. That's set in stone.
Right.
So if you don't have high endurance at the start, your HP will just not be good.
Yeah, and it's now retroactive, and then you just get to put the points wherever you want.
And it used to be that every skill that you leveled was associated with one of the main stats.
Yeah, and the values would change, like the bonus you would get for whatever.
And so, you have your major skills, minor skills, and miscellaneous skills in Morrowind. I think it's just major and minor in Oblivion. And the way that you level up in these games is that you gaining 10 levels in one of your major skills permits you to level up by resting or whatever, just happening. And the stat points you get to allocate, you get 3 little pips to go for every level up, and the stat points you get to allocate are based on what you have, the skills you have leveled in since the last level up. So if you just level your main skills and level up very quickly, all 10 of your level ups are just in your main skills, the actual stat points that you get to allocate when you level up are not going to be worth a shit. You're going to get +1 or +2 in a couple of your stats you care about. So you have to, if you want to min-max the character, which, to be fair, is not required at all in any way for these video games.
They're not that hard.
It sounds like what you're saying is that you have to EV train. And
so you have, the optimal way to build your character is to make your major skills things that you do not actually give a rat's ass about. You make your major skills things that you will never actually do in your day-to-day playing, weapons you won't use, magic you won't cast, things that you could train very easily.
Right.
And then the things you actually care about, you blast the level ups, and that way you only level up when you want to, not just as you play.
Yeah.
So you can make sure that you have the level ups distributed in such a way that instead of getting +1 to 3 stats, you get +5 to 3 stats. The swing between +3 and +15
is pretty
wide.
Yeah.
But Mario's saying you get kind of a high medium of 12 to evenly distribute one at a time every time you level up.
And minor skills now also contribute to leveling.
Objectively better system.
That's good.
That's
good.
Not as much as major skills, but they do contribute.
Right. I'm sure that I know for a fact that there were already mods that address that, but that if they're going to include, that's one of the major first things I'd look for, along with the making the town part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so credits to that. It's a lot more fun when you don't have to worry about all that optimization shit. I mean, Rob and I are the type of people who care about that.
You don't have to worry about that, but I do.
Yeah.
But I do have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's suboptimal.
And then another
positive
thing I can say is, even though, of course, if you're paying what you're paying for this fucking game, they should do this, but they included all the DLC and all that stuff. And then there's 2...
They did?
Yes.
I thought that they were charging $10 for all the DLC or something.
No, it's there's an extra thing. You got to pay for the horse armor, basically.
Yeah, okay, that's because all I've heard is snippets and memes and people being disingenuous. And the sentence that I had read was they're making people pay for horse armor.
Well, so there's you could
if
pay.
If Blizzard was in charge of this
deluxe
game, you have to wait for the DLC.
The
to
deluxe
come out
edition
again.
includes 2 new little quest lines to get new unique armor. A Mehrunes Dagon set and an Akatosh set, and then they got a weapon goes with it or something.
Okay.
So you're paying for that essentially, but the Knights of the Nine and the Shivering Isles are already bundled in.
It kind of sounds like when they made the Skyrim Special Edition, one of the times they did that.
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of like slightly updated graphics and we bundled in some mods.
And we included fishing. Aren't you happy?
I'm playing that right now.
Are you enjoying the fishing?
That was the fucking
I haven't been
anniversary.
fishing yet, no, but I keep seeing fishing rods and I'm like, thoughts.
So yeah, there's a lot of changes that are like, not a lot, but the changes they made make sense and make the game at least a little bit more enjoyable. If you're a casual person who doesn't want to go through all that, the modding shit, or
Right.
you don't have a PC or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll accept not having a PC.
Yeah, because like if you're on PlayStation, all the websites in the world won't help you
Yeah.
mod this game.
Which they actually, not for this as far as I know, but on the anniversary edition of Skyrim, you can download.
There were mods.
You
for
can
Xbox.
download
Yeah, I
mods
got
for
a shit ton of
console.
mods.
You can
It was
Dong
super
Genie on
cool.
Xbox?
You couldn't Dong
Yeah.
Genie, but you could do mods. And like I don't. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's objectively
There
pretty
were a
cool.
lot. They
That's- I
added a
can't
bunch of
argue with
armor
that.
sets and stuff. I downloaded a shit ton of mods and it made the game a lot.
So
better.
the shiesty part of that is that it's the Creation Club, which
get
is
money.
which is mods approved by Bethesda,
No!
and yeah, basically like they don't like pay the modders who made that.
That doesn't shock
As
me.
far as I understand.
My
Like,
problem with it is that there are ones that they decide, no, you can't have that. If I want to download that everyone has
I mean,
the
the
10-foot
modding
horsecock sword, then they will!
Well, the modding websites do occasionally know you can't have that, but I mean, it's the internet. Someone's hosting it somewhere.
Yeah.
shitty part about PlayStation, as I understand though, for that Skyrim version, is you can only have like 100 mods max. Which is
100, yeah.
a fair amount, but I'm sure
I
super
mean-
modders are just like, only!
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Really?
I'm sure that
Yeah.
adds up super fast when you realize like a bunch of the mods are like, oh, this mod is just one set of armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Or like
true.
change the flowers or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's like
A huge part of
That's
it's
the
just
level of-
textures and stuff.
yeah.
Like,
That's the level of customization and extensibility. You could any from burka to tit burka.
That's a reference I don't know if anyone else will get except me and Rob.
No.
That sounds absurd. That sounds absurd.
Is there a mod that turns
Care to
a
explain?
character?
No.
It's just like a
There's a old ass vintage YouTube
Yeah.
channel called Picnic Face, and then
back when internet videos were a lot more like yelling.
Yeah. and there it was a fake commercial for like an NFL game
Yeah,
where it's like
fake-
hyper realistic, and it's like your cheerleaders can have a sliding scale of lewdness from burka to tit burka, and it was just a burka made its
It's the same, and tit burka is the exact
shit, I haven't
same,
thought about
the
that in a
exact
long
same
time.
burka image, but when he drags the slider to the right, he's filled in the burka with like a tiled boobs texture.
That's so
Tit burka is.
good.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's you could. I think the joke that I said initially that made them say you should come on the podcast and talk about this, Rob, is you could turn Oblivion into a porn RTS if you wanted.
Yeah.
I never tried to do that. And
I forgot about
if
this.
you've never heard of the Rant series, I understand that there are porn RTS games. I never played them.
There
I
are?
think
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that
unfortunately.
game is an RTS. I'm pretty sure Sengoku Rant is an RTS. But there might be RPG elements to it. I don't know. I've only ever seen screenshots of it. I never played that game or those games. So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that it is unironically a porn RTS.
Man, I haven't like looked at what porn games are since like there were like a Flash game where you solve a puzzle and then like the it reveals itself and it's a lady with in a bikini.
No. Japan has long mastered this art,
Oh,
my
yeah,
friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're way ahead of us in the porn technology.
The technology is eons ahead of us.
It's destroying their civilization.
I mean-
they're not breeding anymore because their porn tech is too strong. So it sucks, bro. We're gonna be out of them pretty soon.
We were having this conversation about like the American exceptional technology is our cheese technology.
Yeah.
We're making new cheeses out of things you couldn't even imagine to cheese with.
And
We
the
have cheeses.
consistency, like,
Yeah.
stays right at hot or cold, like, only runs when you want it to. Like, we're doing material science, man.
Yeah. Like master's degrees with like chemical engineering thing is like, but the cheese is too slimy. It needs to be more gooey, not
Like
slimy.
Like a 250 plus, like, like Wisconsin, that's like ooh, like with a lab coat and like beakers and test tubes and graduated cylinders. And like, ooh, we need the sulfur ratio, like, bacteria.
Finally, after all these years, I've invented the perfect melting cheese.
Oh, this one went a little off. Throw it in the cheese mine.
Throw it into the cheese mine. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into another cheese-a-tour.
They do have a cheese mine. That is real.
That's real, yeah.
That's why I said it.
Cheese,
Yeah.
Yeah, the cheese mine is a surreal ass concept.
Yeah.
We talked about government cheese in a previous episode.
Man, like
that's where it came from.
The super volcano Mount St. Helens going off, like, could genuinely create, just at least for a minute, a pretty tasty zone.
I was going to say, imagine the smell. Like in a good way.
Delicious.
Usually when you're imagining the smell, it's not a good
baked cheese.
But imagine the smell.
Yeah.
Baked cheese, yeah.
But then, after like a couple of weeks, imagine the smell.
Oh, no! It's curdled!
It broke our hearts to have to brick up the cheese caves, but after the explosion, the smell was just terrible.
Wait, what were you talking about before Titburka? Like, that completely, like, set us off. Like,
Sorry,
now we're talking about cheese and shit. Yeah.
ADHD maxing tonight, man. I'm in too good a mood. Titburka, extensibility, Oblivion, modding, Sengoku rants. Talking about Oblivion has the ultimate extensibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were saying the PlayStation Works mod up to 100, which is, frankly, a much higher number than I thought you were going to say. Kudos to them for that. I'm so far out of the console game now that I don't know, like, it has what the stats are, what the specs are. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that, man.
He just plays on his computer, which is on what I feel is best described as an extremely dirty but obviously garbage desk. Like, it's missing doors and handles on, like, the drawers and stuff. But it's nice. It looks like something that you would discover in, like, Tarzan's home.
Like, I found it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, no. When it was given to me, it had all of the things that you just described missing.
Oh, no.
Years of me, like,
Fucking
with
around,
it.
yeah.
Just pulling on it and flipping the shit up and down and just fiddling with it has slowly degenerated it, like it's just rattling apart.
This is like a known condition of Rob because he's got the ADD where you always have to, like, do something, like, consistently over the course of this episode. While he's speaking at length, I've seen him just, like, pick up his phone and expertly twirling it, not even looking at it, and he has to do this.
Yeah. I hope the audio's not showing up on the recording, because I definitely have gotten the phone a little too close to the microphone once or twice.
Good to go.
Well, I was just kind of spinning it around in my hand. Like it.
No, you're good. I haven't heard anything at least.
There's a sword in his home. It's not a real sword.
Oh no, the cursed blade.
The cursed blade. It's a cosplay sword. It's made out of bamboo or something. Where it looks a lot like a real katana. Unfortunately,
it's a nice cosplay sword.
It's really cool. Yeah.
My friend left it at my house. You should come get it.
But unfortunately, it's, like, really good and fun and easy to play with.
Dude, it's so... All the things you just said. Good, easy, fun. And it's like... It looks real enough.
It looks real enough that you don't feel like a baby.
It's also made of, like, plastic and wood.
Yeah.
So you're just, like, swoosing it around like how you imagine a sword is, but how it actually is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Swing!
Swing! Yeah.
Anyway, it's destroyed some of his possessions already. This is,
Like, one time I was playing with it I was sitting cross-legged on my bed in the dark and swinging the sword around.
You know how it is.
And the scabbard flew off the sword and smashed into one of my old laptops.
That was seeing pretty consistent use.
Yeah, so the screen on that was broken after that.
Yep.
But I still was able to hook it up to another screen, and use it like that. So we're good.
It lived there for many years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but anyway, like, just swinging the sword around is a problem. Because,
Yeah.
maybe it's a dude thing. I can't say for certain. But, like,
it's most certainly a dude
it's
thing.
an ADHD nerd thing.
There you
it's
go.
that too.
There you
maybe
go.
It's okay. Maybe there's a large cross section there with the people I hang out with. Who can say?
Yeah,
We've all at least once glanced at the sword and been like, ooh, sword. And
Yeah.
then you just pick it up. Like,
Just swinging it around. Like, you're indoors, man. There's like glass pipes for tobacco use only, of course.
I did that literally the last time I was at your house, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, there's fragile things in a house, in a room.
Yeah.
Like, even if the ceilings are higher, like, than average, even if you're in, like, a nice room, a big room, like, there's not, like...
Right, it's not...
You can't extend... Most rooms, you cannot...
Sword.
You cannot sword. You cannot two-handed grip a sword-length sword and stick your arms out and swing it as hard as you can. Most rooms in most houses, you can't do that.
Yeah.
No.
So, like, but you want to.
Sure do.
Yeah. No, it'd be super cool if you did. You just swing it hard as fuck. Like, that's... And, like, fighting the urge to swing it around. It's hard.
Yeah.
And so that's led to a lot of small things being broken.
It's a fundamental dude thing. I truly believe it is. Well, if you left a dude in a room with a plastic sword, he will go swing at some point.
Probably you could do the experiment of like out of like 100 men released, like locked in a room, and the only object in the room is an actual sharp sword. How many of them severely injure themselves?
Cut themselves, yeah.
It's gonna be like an over 50%.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just looking at it like,
yeah, 30% mild injury, 50%
so cool.
major injury, 20% no injury,
well, a lot of those
or
guys
like
hurt
1%.
themselves already.
Yeah.
Look at how cool it is.
Yeah, one
It
maybe
thirsts for blood. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
That is pretty sick. Yeah, God bless, dude.
And then probably like 75% of those who had to be like evacuated by ambulance asked to keep the sword. And their wives said no, because you shouldn't have it.
Yeah, no, you cut yourself, you fucking idiot.
Right, you shouldn't have a sword, even if it's made of plastic and wood and whatever the hell it's made of.
And they're correct, and I have several.
Yeah.
I have real swords and fake swords. I'm that kind of nerd.
The sword, like... I'm not going to stop playing with it.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Learn nothing from the situation.
No, never.
Just don't swing it with the scabbard on it. That should have launched.
Learn that.
Yeah.
That's a
you
thing.
need to draw the blade before you swing it. Yeah.
I do the nerd thing where I hold it like
but if you
like a quick draw in an anime.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
What a weeb.
Yeah, it's bad.
But if you have to swing with the scabbard on and you swing it overhand, it's like Zelda 1, where you swing the sword.
And it shoots the laser sword.
The laser beam.
Yeah.
You could send that
sick.
Flying.
Yeah, you could get somebody with that.
Oh, yeah, you really could.
Be as part of that.
Whip that shit.
Uh-huh.
Wow!
Yeah.
It would not hurt. It would not feel super good.
That would be like a crouching tiger, hidden dragon move.
Yeah.
It would make a really loud
Just
sound.
whip the scabbard at somebody.
It's very rattly, the scabbard.
Yeah, it would make a very loud, rattling, cracky noise. It'd be awesome.
Oh my goodness.
It would be super obnoxious.
But Oblivion.
Oh my god. What were you talking about?
Unfortunately, we've pretty much covered everything already, especially because we've done episodes about like all the lore and stuff already.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you went through the whole Kirkbride and the Lessons of Vivek and the Chim and the...
I didn't get into Kirkbride, really.
What's Kirkbride?
That's the guy
Michael Kirkbride. He is given a little too much credit, in my opinion. Not to say he didn't contribute a lot. He did. But people
is credited with the work of many writers because he was like the head writer.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm sure. I wasn't.
He did write a bunch of cool shit, like 36 Lessons of Vivek, which is a whole thing. And yeah, he's the guy who made Kim, Jim, whatever you want to call it, and blah blah blah.
You went through all that.
I did not really. Well, Kim, yeah, I did.
Sure,
I did.
yeah,
I think
God,
I covered.
Ascension shit
and stuff like that.
The Eastern stuff, like
I got into Akavira.
cosmology as a wheel and all the.
I didn't get into the wheel thing or the towers or any of that.
Okay.
I was
The
trying to
wheel
keep
thing,
it
all the powers?
pretty brief.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you could go.
understand.
We could go on for hours, and at a certain point, people won't. It's just
And
like
I'm also not
esotericism.
I'd have to defer to Mario on this. I'm not super the expert on that stuff either. I talk a big game and I know a good amount of stuff, but I don't know all the stuff.
I'm certainly excited about it, but I don't know if I'm an expert.
It's a lot of stuff.
it's just too much. Like we could do several more hours of just spouting.
Your time traveling gay space robots.
I went over him. He's my favorite.
We talked about that.
I talked a lot
I
about
figured you
Pelennor.
would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got into him.
The White Strake or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Then I had them ask me questions, and it's like,
A time-traveling elf hating gay space robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny to like go into combat screaming about like something that no one else has any idea about. Like it's just
Like Back to the Future.
yeah, it's Back to the Future.
Your kids are going to love that.
You kids are gonna love that.
Whatever he said. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I could go on and on and on.
How far are you
but,
in the Oblivion remaster?
Oh, fair bit in.
You're Bojangling, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been playing that much recently, but yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff in that game.
Mhm.
There's like a lot of stuff.
I've almost like maxed out my character because I was just power leveling. Because of course.
Because of course.
Yeah.
But I think they're like, if the loot is still leveled, you have to be a certain level to get the best leveled loot.
Mm-hmm.
The loot's still leveled, right?
It is.
What do you mean by that?
So, like...
The values change based on how high your level is.
Oh, like if
you
you're
are-
level 10 and you get it, it's plus
Yeah.
1, but if you're level 20, it's plus 5 or
Essentially,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're level 20 and you get it, it's like the best item in the game.
Right.
There's certain items that are like that.
Yeah, so it's like recommended. don't do X quests before you're this level.
Right.
Or it's like the item he gives you will have like a lesser
Yeah.
effect.
The Mace of Shatar is optimum at level 18, but if you do the
That's
quest
kind
at
of
level
annoying.
14, it doesn't have its special double
But
thing.
I guess that just means you have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it would add replay value if that is like one of the axes upon which games did things anymore.
The idea behind Oblivion's level scaling is like, just go wherever you want, man.
Yeah.
That was like a big part of it, but like it left some things to be desired.
Mm-hmm. It's because everything scales to you. It's not like there's no areas in which you can go into some place and be that there's like a mega enemy or something. It's everything is always keyed to you.
Right.
So the challenge is
You
always
just get more things to do.
exactly
to use,
what
yeah.
it should be based on what difficulty setting you're on.
But those little spikes up and down are part of the spice of life. How can you tell how strong Naruto has gotten if he doesn't go back and rinse earlier act villains every so often?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Exactly. That's sort of a Worf effect thing that happens in a lot of writing, where in order to establish something as powerful, you just let them completely manhandle something that like was a big deal. And in video games especially, I really like this, where like you fight a boss, and then later, when you're like in like the final level, that boss is just a kind of minion.
Yeah, I like that. That happens
I love that.
In Metroid Prime, the first time you fight one of like the Frost Beasties, it's like a big deal. He's like burrowed into the ground, and he gets up, and it's like, the boss fight music plays.
And he has the spikes on his back.
Yeah, he has the spikes on his back, and then later on, like you encounter like 3 of those in a row.
You blast your super missile.
Yeah,
Bang!
exactly. You just blow them away because
Yeah.
you've just been powered up so much. Yeah, very fun game.
I love that. I know it's completely illusory, and they could lie to me and be like, it's the same model. We just like took down their health to half. Nope, it's the same thing to me, and I feel so good.
Yeah, now I'm cool.
Now I'm so cool. It's letting you actually become the Doomslayer fucking rules.
And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy the nature of this content, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. You can follow me on Blue Sky and as well as Instagram. And if you want to, support us on our Patreon. And with that, have a lovely evening.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
If you want more Elder Scrolls, let us know. I can do more.
Oh, yeah.
I'm considering this the conclusion.
Yeah.
But if you tell me do more, I will.
Yeah.
The Series 2 Electric Boogaloo.
But
Where we get
other
into
than that,
real specific lore.
Bye.
Bye.